Vamos a grabar también en esta computadora. Ok. Bueno, pues buenos días a todos y a todas en la familia de Esencial Pro. ¿Cómo están? Aquí regresando de unas largas vacaciones de aquí de los miércoles de webinar. Bienvenidos a todos y a todas. Estamos aquí con nuestra amiga Hortencia Daniel. Ella es coach de ejecutivos, de altos ejecutivos, su esposo siendo uno de ellos, un gran señor, además inventor que tiene, no sé cuántas patentes tiene, el señor es toda una eminencia, trabajó en las Naciones Unidas y está por todos lados, y Hortencia igualmente está súper preparada y hace el negocio con ella, dama emprendedora y miembro activo de Esencial Pro, de la rama de Brasil. Y aquí nos va a compartir ella lo que ella comparte con estos ejecutivos cuando están con mucho abrumo, con mucho estrés. Ella lo va a hacer esto en inglés porque se siente más cómoda hablando en inglés y sabemos que muchos de ustedes entienden, pero cualquier pregunta que quieran hacer, con muchísimo gusto, escríbenla en español y las vamos a contestar al final o en algún momento, ya sea en Facebook o aquí mismo en Zoom, si nos acompañan por Zoom. Y pues sin más ni más, aquí a nuestra queridísima amiga, bienvenida.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Gracias. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to everyone about stress and overwhelm. But before we begin, I'd like to ask you, just think to yourself, how do you feel today? Like, how do you really feel in your body and in your mind, in your spirit? Again, feel free to comment in the box if you'd like, or raise your hand. What are you grateful for in your life right now? So we may close our eyes, take a deep breath, and just recollect our thoughts. What successes can we celebrate today? We know successes come in many different shapes and sizes, and it's really important that we recognize all of it, no matter how trivial it seems. It could just have been a new dessert, a new something sweet that you said to your kids this morning, maybe, or to your spouse. These are all to be celebrated as successes. And then notice how we always get like a surge of joy when we stop to give thanks. I wanted to start this way because our topic today is on the other extreme of the spectrum, right? We're talking about stress and overwhelm. So how many times you'd say you feel this way throughout the day on your day-to-day life? What would you say your stress level is on a scale from 1 to 10? Maybe you'd consider yourself stressed out 90% of the time? How exactly do you feel? Where do you feel it in your body? And what do you do about it? Do you actually have some coping strategies, or you just let it ruin your day and your relationships? Fernando already introduced me a little bit, but I just wanted to repeat here that I am a health and life coach, and I was led onto this path from many colorful experiences. And one of them, one of the hardest, I would say, has really pushed me to seeking to live more naturally and more mindfully, and learning how to cope with life's adversities with the aid of nature. And that's where the essential oils come in, and that which is greater than me, my spirituality, my relationship with God. So a little personal story here. About a year ago, I started feeling the signs of acute stress and overwhelm. I had no energy. I was very anxious. I had physical pain most of the time. I couldn't sleep. I had lost my appetite. I started losing my hair and discovered that I had to treat for alopecia areata. And instead of that beautiful smile and, upbeat mood, I was feeling miserable, snappy, and honestly, it started taking a toll on my closest relationships and make me feel even worse about myself. And I just started asking myself, how did I even get here in the first place? Because that was definitely not my best life ever. And of course, I knew I had to do something about it. So I started following through in a process of self-discovery and discovering what was most in tune with my lifestyle, with my busy schedule, because everything has to fit in. We don't just take a break from our lives and from this stress and overwhelm and hide ourselves in an island to feel better, right? We have to make everything fit in, and we have to make it first for us and then for others. I had to feel better for myself so I can give more to my spouse and my children and my work. So after I started this in this new process, within 2 weeks, I could feel the difference. I didn't think at first that it would work, but I did follow through very methodically. And I was very surprised to see at the end of 2 weeks that I was actually sleeping again, that I was in better spirits, and that I felt a boost of confidence. And within a month from when I started, I was definitely ready to tackle my challenges, which were still the same, right? Life doesn't change overnight. But I had a renewed mind and I had much more clarity and energy. And I will be able to share with you a lot of things that I did in regards to the essential oils, most especially in taking my vitamins, taking my DDR, taking my deep blue capsules, and aromatherapy. It was major for me. And so when in regards to the health and life coach, I started also developing a system which I call Breakthrough the Stress and Overwhelm. And through that process, I teach people, learning from my own experience, how to identify, how to prevent, and how to repair the high stressors in our lives so we can have more resilience and self-awareness, without which we cannot have success, right? So along with the right system, the right support and accountability, we're able to attain more calm, peace of mind, better our mood so we can focus our energy on what is truly important in our lives. Now, that's for me. That's my story. Now, what do you notice happens in your body when you're under stress? An increased heart rate, these things are common for all of us. Our breathing speeds up. We may even feel breathless. We feel choking, right? Or a heavy feeling in our chest. Usually one thing that happens to me, I lose my voice. So it's more than just a choking, right? I actually feel this part of my body. This is my blue chakra, right? Swallow. The muscles feel tense, achy. We can get shaky. We feel hot, maybe sweating, lightheaded. That happens also. The vision may become blurred. Butterflies, cramps in our stomach, sometimes an urge to go to the toilet. And our thoughts race when we just absolutely cannot think straight. So all these feelings and sensations kick off when our sympathetic nervous system is triggered. This is when adrenaline rushes through our body to prepare us to fight or flight, a life-threatening situation, causing us to be scared. So ideally, stress is caused to enable us to physically fight or run away when facing danger. But unfortunately, this response is now activated in situations where it is inappropriate, like in traffic, or do it during a stressful day at work, or when our children are having a tantrum. So our body prepares to literally run away from our bear where there's no bear. when it's really just, part of our days, every day. Now, what really happens in our body is that adrenaline can make us feel very anxious and even angry. And we know that. And that's when we lose control of our emotions because our thoughts are racing and we just really can't think clearly or logically. That's when and why we're likely to do or say something we most often regret later. Our modern lives, the way we live today, we carry it through ancient bodies. I mean, our bodies have evolved, but our modernity of life has sped so much more than our bodies have been able to cut up through evolution. So it's very important that we understand how this body functions on the most basic level and what are the effects on our body. When we're under stress, our body redirects our energy and blood flow to ensure we're ready to fight or flight. To make this possible and effective, some of our body system processes are nearly shut down. And that's why the effects of stress on the body are so strong and with serious consequences. Because when our body prepares us to fight or flight, most of our energy, most of our blood flow goes to our limbs, to our legs, to our arms, so we can literally fight or flight. So what happens to our vital organs? They're pretty much depleted of oxygen, of blood flow, and that's where it can cause a myriad of problems, of illnesses even, and we can, over time develop diseases. So let's just take a quick look at that, and maybe we can talk more in depth about each one of these in another talk. So what does stress cause in our body? Increased cortisol production. It's associated with weight gain, especially in the belly, inability to lose weight or gain muscle, and premature aging. Decreased nutrient absorption. Due to decreased enzymatic production from the stomach, pancreas, and liver, decreased bile flow from the gallbladder, as well as decreased oxygenation and gastrointestinal blood flow. Increased nutrient excretion. Stress increases the urinary excretion of calcium, magnesium, potassium, zinc, chromium, selenium, and various trace. Decreased gut flora populations. Stress destroys healthy intestinal bacteria, which can lead to immune problems, skin disorders, nutrient deficiencies, and digestive stress. So again, talking about what we can do in terms of using aromatherapy to keep our minds calm, to put us in a better place, right? Being mindful of it, but also the need to use the supplements that are natural, because even when we are at our best mood and our best state of mind, we still have to deal with stress. And no matter how small the stress, I mean, the bigger, the worse it is. But even the small stresses, they're still taken away from these vital processes in our body. So we must be able to also take these supplements and make up for it. What else? The list is quite long, but I'm going to try to make it short. Increase in salt retention can lead to high blood pressure, hypertension. Decrease in thermic efficiency, ability to burn calories is diminished. Decrease in thyroid hormone can decrease the body's metabolic activity.
Is that why people gain weight when they're stressed?
They're stressed.
Mm-hmm.
For a couple of reasons, they can gain weight, actually. Mm-hmm. One, because the digestive system is shut down. If you need to survive, if you need to run away from a wolf, your stomach and your intestines, they have to stop working. in order to supply that energy to your legs and your arms so you can fight or flight. So that's one. Digestion is poor. Because digestion is poor, you cannot absorb the nutrients that we need. So your immune system goes down. And because your intestines are also shut down, it literally kills your healthy gut flora. So you see, it's a cascade of events that happens. And because it messes up with your thyroids, you cannot burn the calories. So it's really like one thing leading to another, and there's increase in blood cholesterol. It raises the LDL cholesterol levels, increase in blood pellet aggregation. It's a major risk factor in heart diseases. Decrease in sex hormones can lower sex drive, energy, and decrease muscle mass. Increase in inflammation. That's why we also have more pain in our joints and our muscles, or even if you have an issue, it becomes so much more aggravated when we're stressed out, right? And that includes the brain also in heart disease. Increase in gastric emptying time. Again, going back to the digestion, right? What does that, it can lead to constipation and be a risk factor in diseases of the colon. Decrease and increase in swallowing rate. And that's another thing. Our digestion really starts in the mouth. It starts with us chewing and with the enzymes in our saliva. And when we're stressed, one of the things that we know we feel, our mouth gets dry. So there's no saliva there to begin that digestion. So that makes us also swallow it faster, which means that we chew less. So yeah, stress is, we're used to it, and it's become a common, language every day to describe life. Like we have to just cope, we have to deal with it, but it's bad. So we need to find better coping mechanisms. We have to find what else we can do to make up for it, because we are literally killing ourselves with it. Decrease hydrochloric acid production. The majority of people will experience a reduction of stomach acid in the presence of stress, as stress diverts blood flow away from the digestive system. We just mentioned that, right? Decrease in growth hormone. It's a key hormone in growing, healing, and rebuilding tissues. And it also helps burn fat and build muscle. So even if you're trying to work out, but your stress is not controlled, you're not going to build muscle. You're not going to burn fat. And if you're trying to recover from an injury, it will take much longer if you're also feeling stressed out. Increase in insulin resistance. Chronic low-level stress, which is the one that we're also talking about. Even when you get it under control, we still have to live with a low-level stress, right? But that also may cause target cells to become unresponsive to insulin, which is a factor in diabetes, weight gain, heart disease, and aging. Increase in erratic function of LES. It's the lower esophageal sphincter. It causes it to open inappropriately, causing gastric reflux, which a lot of people know by heartburn. I used to have that too, and I used to take omeprazole for that. And I know that in 15, 20 minutes, the pain would go away. So when I started using doTERRA, I tried the Digest Zen. So one day I was feeling sick and I was reaching out for the omeprazole. That's when I started using. So I didn't know all the oils very well. And I'm like, this is a good time for me to try it, because I've been taking omeprazole for quite a few months now. I know that it will work. And I know that there's very serious side effects. It's not, even though it's over the counter, it's a very serious medication with very serious side effects. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try Digest and see how it works. I took just one drop in a glass of water. 15 minutes, my pain went away. So that was pretty amazing. I never had to take omeprazole again, never. And because I worked on managing my stress, Even the Diagen, I don't need to take it very often because my stress, I can better manage my stress. What else? Increase in oxidative stress. It prematurely ages the body, which is a precursor to many diseases. Increased risk of osteoporosis, the bone density that has been shown to decrease in stressed and depressed women. Stress increases the urinary excretion of calcium, magnesium, and boron. Decrease in mitochondria. These are the cell's energy powerhouses. When these cellular organelles are diminished in number, we literally produce less energy. And this can lead to chronic fatigue. What supplement do I take for that? The Mito 2 Max, which is to help the mitochondrial production. I mean, as long as I don't take it before I go to bed.
Yes, it provides energy for the mitochondria.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. And
yeah,
another one,
have a little bit of it too.
Yeah, and another one that helps also with stress and to also make up for all this loss that stress causes in our body is the adaptive, especially because of the GABA. GABA is good for so many diseases, so many serious conditions even that can, make people feel truly better.
Well, my takeaway from all you're sharing with us is that it's not just one thing; it's the whole. It's what we always talked about. Lo que siempre hablamos aquí en Esencial Pro. It's a lifestyle. Es un estilo de vida.
Yes.
It's all integrated.
Yeah.
Because everything has to do with it. It's like the way you feed yourself, the way, and not only food, but also information, also the way, we even listen to the radio. Sometimes it's really loud and it's like, it raises your awareness of fight or flight, like you were saying.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we have to look at it in a holistic way. You cannot just think, okay, I'm going to take a Xanax for my anxiety. I'm going to take a sleeping pill to fall asleep. And when the heartburn comes, I'm going to take an omeprazole and I'm going to continue living the same way, listening to the same music, eating the same junk food.
Yeah.
The premature aging is still taking place. The disease development is still taking place. So if you want to manage the stress naturally, there's totally a way. They just have to be mindful. And honestly, one thing that we always take for granted, we think that loving ourselves is something that we're born with, but we kind of have to invest in that. It's like loving your spouse or loving a friend. I'm not going to say so much our children because that's a different kind of love, but we have to invest in these relationships. We also need to invest in our relationship with ourselves. So we need to truly be loving to ourselves, truly be caring to ourselves, and then look at all these different parts that make us, that make our lives. There's no one pill that will solve it all, one magic pill.
What are your favorite oils to use aromatically to relax you, to put you in a state, not in a, and I'm gonna go to bed state, but more so like when you feel a little bit off?
I made a roll-on for myself, which I carry in my bag. And if I remember correctly, it's cedarwood, vetiver, and lavender. These three mixed. Yeah. And so if I'm working here in my office, I usually have in the diffuser, I really like the laurel leaf. I love it because it helps. I just love that smell, and it helps with concentration. I also use the elevation if I'm feeling down a little bit. And for bed, one of my favorites is clarisage and lavender.
Nice.
Yeah. And but I also like to put vetiver on the sole of my feet before going to bed. Or if I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like I am a little bit too awake, like when you feel your body rushing, like you need to get up and do something, and it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, I know I have a lot of things to do, but there's not really anything that I can get up to do right now. And your body's telling you to get up. And
Right,
it
right.
creates that anxiety and you start feeling hot and you're like, okay, why can't I go back to sleep?
Yeah,
One drop.
thoughts are crazy.
Right. And so what I do, keep it on my bedside, should in case that happens. It's one drop of Roman chamomile under my tongue.
Wonderful.
It's just a few minutes and I'm back to sleep.
Oh my God. Nice. Very good,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. So there isn't just one formula, right, to kicking off the stress.
Mhm.
You have to look at many things. So I want to suggest here, what then should we do to stay calm when you notice that feeling of stress arising, right? The first thing I suggest, and honestly, I think it's one of the most important for that holistic approach, is to be curious with no judgment. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge the situation. Don't try to blame, on anybody. Just be curious and notice what is going on. Because the first step to changing anything is to notice, is to recognize that you're feeling overwhelmed and that everything you're feeling in your body is due to adrenaline. But it's important that you ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Where is that coming from? Does it warrant this much feeling? Because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, a lot of times, we overreact. We are used to overreacting. We're using to putting ourselves in that fight or flight mode. So sometimes we need to take a step back, and that alone, a lot of times, will already bring it down a little bit. And when you feel in this overwhelming response to stress, what else can we do? How can we counteract these feelings? The first thing to do, the easiest thing to do that we're in control of, is to activate the relaxation response. And what is that? Again, we mentioned earlier, when we are in that fight or flight response, our sympathetic nervous system is the one that is triggered, is the one of the fight and flight that takes all the energy out of the vitals and sending to the limbs. So how can we reverse that operation? Because it's like the light switch. The light is either on or off. It cannot be on and off at the same time. So our sympathetic and our parasympathetic nervous system is the same way. It's either one or the other. It can be both. Some of our vital organs, they run at only 5% when we're in the fight or flight mode. Because like I said, it's either one or the other. So how can we just bring ourselves to the parasympathetic nervous system to turn on? We have to try to relax the muscles, to think more clearly. That's what it takes. And to lower the heart rate. What does it do? How do we do that? It's like a hack. It really is a hack. It's deep breathing. And we just do like 1 or 2 minutes of deep breathing, because the breathing shortens when we are under stress. So when we're able to do deep breathing, we kind of tell our bodies, we're breathing, everything is okay. It's not warranted. And that lowers the heart rate, that relaxes the muscle. So that's the first step. That's one thing that is easy. We can do it anywhere, whether you're in the office, in an airplane, or in the middle of traffic. That is one easy thing that we have control of. It doesn't solve all of our stress issues, but that's the first step to, at least for that moment, bringing yourself to calmness. Because when we are able to take off the edge of our anxiety or anger, we're able to handle the stressful situations much more tactfully. Whether it's your boss yelling at you, your child having a tantrum, you're stuck in traffic and you're late, if you're able to take it off and just put yourself in a better place, you're able to give it a better response, right? And with that, we're able to create new habits and feed our inner happiness to last even through the chaos. So let's look at our day-to-day type of stress activities in our lives through the lens of polarity, of expansive and contractive. So there are things that happens in our lives that are a little bit more contractive. They create more tension. And then there are things that are more expansive. They create more relaxation. Examples of contractive activities are running, working too much, partying, staying up late, stress. When we have too many contractive activities, we're going to start shutting down because our body needs relaxation. That's when you reach for a martini, right? Or chocolate. So if you don't allow yourself to relax, because food is the first thing that comes to mind and the easiest, the most convenient. So that's why a lot of people also binge on food and have food addictions. They're actually trying to combat their stress, but it's not going to help. It's going to create more chaos in the body. So if we don't allow ourselves to relax, because our body is really, truly begging for a break, like sleep, reading, meditation, walking, or taking a bath. So here we go through a short list of things that I did that has helped me, and I know can help so many people if they just, put themselves to follow through with it. One is aromatherapy. We already know that essential oils may improve a variety of health issues, including anxiety and stress. We talked about lavender, but we also know that citrus and bergamot are particularly effective at alleviating both the anxiety and the stress, and they smell amazing. So we can diffuse a few drops or put it directly to the skin. I mean, directly meaning like I did in a roll-on, with proper dilution. And like I said, this has literally saved my life, learning how to use the oils. To me, they are synonymous of quality of life. Yeah, because we know, and I understand now, I know now how the olfactory and limbic system have a direct connection, which in turn can heavily influence our mood and emotions and even balance out our hormone productions. And a few of my favorite oils for stress are, and I mentioned clary sage and lavender for sleeping, cedarwood and vetiver, sandalwood also, the Roman chamomile, and the list is very long. It's hard to say what are my favorites.
It's great that we have the collection that we have, so we can experiment and see how we feel in different kinds of situation. And I'm always sharing with everybody to be bold, to try different things, because it's not gonna do you any harm, to try them.
Yeah.
And it can only help, and you can always fine tune. Is like, oh, well, depending on the reason, or maybe depending on the weather, maybe depending on my hormonal cycle, certain oils are gonna react with oneself, and then we start developing that intuition.
Exactly.
And how to reach, and how like something I get very often, especially with young moms starting out using the oils, is a question of how many drops, how much should I dilute for my little ones. And I always tell them, well, use your intuition and start developing that. Start less is more, less quantity, more frequency is best. And then you can start gauging. But they're completely safe to experiment, so you can fine tune and become more intuitive with all of this. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. So the next one, and we just mentioned also, is the paced breathing. But I want to teach you how to do it. I mean, most people I know how to do it, but we'll just take 5 seconds to do it. And if you're home or in the office and you have the diffuser, you can do the paced breathing with your favorite oil. So, it's great to be taking in just the pure oxygen, but if you can take the essential oils with it, it's just a bonus, right? Why not? So we can just sit down or lie down in a comfortable position. I prefer to be sitting down and rest my arms if I can, just to take the weight off my shoulders. Plant your feet, both your feet, on the ground, so you also feel grounded. Next time, maybe we can do a grounding meditation, which I love. It's pretty amazing. It also just takes a few minutes. But let's just go through this one. And I'll give you another hint before we start. When we see babies sleeping, we see them breathing through their bellies, right? We see their bellies rise and fall. When we breathe, just breathe normal, Fernando. Where do you feel you're breathing the most? On your chest or on your belly? Just your normal breathing.
On the belly. Normal.
Good. Most people will breathe right here. When we're stressed or when we live through a lot of stress daily, most of the breathing are here. So we don't even get to push the oxygen. The oxygen goes, but we don't even get to push the oxygen to the rest.
Well, full disclosure, I mean, I've been in this road 7 years, but prior to that, I'm almost certain that I did the wrong way. Now I'm very conscious about stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yes. So we'll take a deep breath through the nose.
Mhm.
Try to push it all the way to your lower belly. Count of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we let it go for 7 seconds. So it's 5, hold for 5, and let go for 7. So if you do this, let's just say 10 times, you already bring your body back to the parasympathetic. So let's just do a couple of times. So if people watching can learn. Okay. That's it. So like I said, we can be driving. You can, if you're at home, use your diffuser, or even if you don't want to close your eyes and plant your feet and everything, still do the breathing and inhale the oil in that same rhythm, you know, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it, then blow it, and then go again. So even, you know, no matter how you're sitting and where you are, you just one drop of oil, you know, 1 or 2 drops of oil in your palms will just really do wonders for you at, you know, anywhere you are. So another one is not an easy one. It requires a little bit more commitment, and it's exercise. We know that physical activity is one of the best ways to combat stress. It lowers our body's stress hormones, helps release endorphins, improves our sleep quality, and boosts our confidence. So we all should find an activity we like, whether it's a spin class, which doesn't work for me, or a meditative walk, which I love. But the important part is to make it part of our regular routine. Another one, this is kind of easy, is to reduce the caffeine intake. We get it. We know everyone loves a daily cup or 3 of coffee, chai, latte, tea. But high doses of caffeine can increase anxiety and make you feel jittery or anxious. So I'm not suggesting that you cut it out completely. Just practice moderation. I promise that you see a difference. And I will give you an extra tip. Try taking organic coffee, because there is no way to take out the pesticides from the coffee. So when you take regular coffee, besides the caffeine, you're also drinking pesticides. And they can make the caffeine even more potent. And they leave that aftertaste of coffee in your mouth is not from the coffee, it's from the pesticides. When you drink organic coffee, you don't have that strong aftertaste. And you feel less jittery. So yeah, cut it down just a little bit.
Wow.
And take organic coffee if you can.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
And for a lot of people, this is a great activity, is to write it down, is to journal, right? Keep a journal, or what I like to call a stress bucket. You know, throw your stresses in the bucket, or talk to a friend, talk to God, speak it out, you know, bring it out, whether you write it down, whether you pray, or whether you talk to a professional or a good friend, put it out. And but most especially, focus on 3 to 4 3 to 5 things daily that you're grateful for. So it's a good way to start your day and end your day. It's with gratitude. Yeah, focus on the things that you can give thanks for.
I love it. I love it. You always build on positive. You never build on negative.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it's negative, as I said, if you write it on your stress bucket, or if you bring it out in prayer, or if you talk to a friend or a professional, then you let it go. Let it go and focus on 3 to 5 things you're grateful for each and every day. And those are the things that should carry you through your day.
Fantastic.
Another thing is to laugh more, because it's almost impossible to feel stressed out when we're laughing, right? Laughter can relieve stress by relaxing your muscles and reducing our stress response. So get together with friends, play with your children, watch a funny movie, do something that makes your belly laugh and feel the stress just melt away. Connect with friends and family, again, talking, laughing, being part of a group, whether big or small, it doesn't matter. Just have a sense of belonging, because that will increase your self-worth. So even, with your busy time, with your busy schedule, still try to, meet someone you like for coffee or for lunch, or even if it's just a quick phone call sometimes. Yeah. Okay.
Share do-it-yourself stuff with the oils.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Another thing to beat the stress, learn to say no, because a lot of the stressors in our lives are completely out of our control, but some are not. And one way to take control of the parts of our life that are causing us to stress is to say no more often. Saying yes to everything and taking on too much can leave us feeling overwhelmed. So be selective what you take on and say no to things that you don't have the time for. It's okay to say no. And on the flip side, I would say, and say yes to yourself. Show up for yourself. If you need a break, realize that and say yes to yourself. Take a break. If you need to cancel an appointment, say yes to yourself and cancel it. Right? Practice mindfulness. We already touched on that a little bit, but mindfulness is a mental state in which you focus on yourself. So just take the time to listen to your body, listen to your surroundings, activate your 5 senses, Feel the smell. Even if you're crossing Times Square in New York, feel the smell, the wind on your skin. Look at the people around you. Don't just be oblivious, just rushing through it. Be human. Yeah, because it can help combat the anxiety-inducing effects of negative thinking.
Well, I find a lot of shortcomings are because we're not present in the moment. We're always thinking, what do I have for tasks coming up?
And we're doing one thing, thinking of another. We're constantly doing one thing, thinking of the next. Think of what else. So when you take something to do, just focus on that, right? Do your best for that. Just be present for that. So it's less busyness in your mind, right? If you just tackle one at a time.
Less noise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you have a pet or children or a spouse, snuggle, and cuddle. That loving also, can help you activate your hormones of feeling happy and feeling loved and feeling worth. And it costs you nothing. Unless you're a hermit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And that's very applicable in this month, in February.
Yes, totally. Yeah, Valentine's. Yes.
Absolutely.
So just a couple more. One is turn up the tunes. You're feeling stressed, turn on your favorite music. whether it's classical or the latest pop music. Research shows that hearing music you love can relax blood vessels and increase blood flow, meaning it's calming, soothing, and good for your heart. So easy also. So I like to do sometimes dance parties with my girls. Yeah, so it's just fun. We get to laugh, we get to play, and we get to listen to the music we love. Yes. And the last one I'm going to mention is work with a health coach. A health coach can help you identify what your personal health and wellness issues are, how they affect you, and develop strategies to overcome them. A health coach can also help you reduce and manage your stress more effectively by helping you change your mindset and behavior, and by extension, improve your life.
Fantastic.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is awesome. I believe everybody can relate to all of this. I'm gonna speak a little bit in Spanish now.
Yes, go ahead.
Creo que todos nos podemos relacionar con todo esto, todo lo que habló Hortencia. Espero que hayan entendido en inglés. Como les digo, la primera lengua de Hortencia es portugués y creemos que es más fácil que entiendan inglés que entiendan el portugués. Pero queríamos nosotros compartir aquí con ustedes todo lo que tenía que decir. Y me encanta cómo ella analiza y separa todas las situaciones que nos estresan y cómo nos afecta de una manera a nivel bioquímico, y cómo estas técnicas o este estilo de vida que ella sugiere, una vez que identificas cuáles son las fallas, cómo puedes tú contrarrestarlo y cómo puedes tú reducirlo también. Muchísimas gracias. Y pues si tienen alguna pregunta o algún comentario, ya sea en Facebook o aquí, adelante. Aquí estamos para servirles y si no, pues para darte las gracias. Muy bonita tu presentación. Thank you very much. Your presentation was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have one poem to close.
Yes,
I wanted to share. Oh, and I also must share with you that I have created a bonus self-care worksheet that I mentioned to you. Yeah.
Yes.
To help us all get inspired about being a little bit more mindful every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that we cannot pour from an empty jar.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start filling our cup daily so that we can have more to share with others, right?
Correct.
So if anyone would like to receive that, they can just send me an email or write the email, but we will also post it in the group, right? To make it available to anyone who's interested. It's called Self-Care Worksheet 101, Self-Care 101 Worksheet.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And
let me share.
What is your email, Hortencia, so people can email you?
Oh, yeah. It's vivolistica@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. Gmail.
Yes, vivolistica@gmail.com.
Also, I wanted to share, if I can, that you have the Vivolistica group on Facebook, which is your group where you share all of this, and as well as your doTERRA team, and you know your Brazilian side of doTERRA. Let's put it that way.
That's right.
So if anybody cares to ask or is interested in speaks Portuguese or knows somebody who speaks Portuguese.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me see here what I can share with you.
Mm-hmm.
Here, do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
There it is.
It's called The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture still. Treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Muy bonito. Voy a tratar de traducirlo en español si se puede. Can you put it again so I can try to translate in Spanish?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
There you go. La casa de huéspedes, the guest house. El hecho de ser humano es una casa de huéspedes. Cada mañana llega un nuevo arribo. Una alegría, una depresión, algo que tiene sentido, un lapso momentario de estar presente, viene como un visitante inesperado. Dale la bienvenida y entretenlos a todos. Aunque sean una banda de angustias que violentamente vienen y barren tu casa y la dejan sin muebles, aún así, trata a cada invitado honorablemente. Pues puede que esté limpiando la casa para dejártela lista para que entre una nueva alegría. Ese pensamiento oscuro, la vergüenza, la maldad, a todos darles la bienvenida riendo e invítalos a que entren. Ten gratitud por cualquier cosa que venga, porque cada una ha sido enviada como una guía desde el más allá. Y es por Rumi. Obrigado, muchas gracias.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Bueno, pues con esto ya concluimos nuestro webinar de hoy. Muchísimas gracias por su atención a todos los que vinieron. Thank you so very much, Hortencia,
You're
for
most
sharing this.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, it's our honor and our pleasure. And we'll be waiting for your comments or questions, rather, in the Facebook page. And you have vivolistica@gmail.com. That's Hortensia's email if you want to receive this the worksheet.
Yeah.
That's correct. Thank you very much. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Hasta la próxima.
Bye.
Bye-bye.